new drivers, there are two things that worry you the most when it comes time to take your actual CDL exam. The one is backing, and the other is that pre-trip inspection. Well, today we're going to talk about the pre-trip inspection. So, if you want to know how you can do it a little bit better, if you want to know how you can stay on top of it, this is the video for you. Stick around. Hey you guys, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode with Trainer Allen, your OTR driving instructor. Today we're going to be discussing something that scares so many new drivers, and to a certain extent, rightfully so. It's a long list, right? I mean, that pre-trip inspection list looks forever long, and you're supposed to remember all of these parts and what's not supposed to be cracked or broken, what's supposed to be secured, what's supposed to not leak. Guys and gals, I promise, you're going to get it, okay? But you've got to study, okay? Studying it means, if you've got your pre-trip inspection list, which you should have a copy of, if you don't have a copy of it, then talk to one of your instructors at the school or wherever you're at. Otherwise, you can download it directly from FMCSA's website. And also, if you already have a trucker's atlas, you will generally find a complete checklist in the front of that atlas. So one way or another, you should be able to get it. I think I will probably drop a link below, linking you directly to a good pre-trip inspection checklist as well. So make sure that you have that, and make sure that you are studying it every day. Read it and 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 read it. Did I say and read it? Read it a lot, okay? Every chance that you get while you're at school, if you got some downtime and you're allowed to go out by the trucks or whatever, and if you can take that checklist with you and go down through it, do it as much as possible, okay? If not, when you're done for the day with the schooling and you go back to your motel room or go home, wherever you're going, you can always pull up diagrams of tractor trailers, okay? Take the time to look at the diagrams, know what your parts are, okay? And just go down through that list and figure out what's what, okay? Now, basic pre-trip inspection, okay, it starts before you ever even get to that truck, okay? As you're walking to that truck with your examiner, okay, you're already starting your pre-trip, okay? So as you're walking towards it, the first part of your pre-trip is to notice two things. First, are there any leaks underneath that truck? That's a pretty important thing, right? Second, is the truck leaning kind of at an odd angle, okay? Now, on the leak part, if it's a hot summer day, okay, you may see some condensation on the ground underneath the truck. But you see it, you walk over to it, you put your finger in it, you pull it out, you make sure that it's water, and make sure that that examiner knows that you know that it's just water and nothing else, okay? The other thing, the truck leaning, okay? The truck leaning could mean that you have low tires. It could mean that you have bad suspension. If you were hauling freight, it could mean that your freight has shifted, okay, which is very important, okay? But, so that's the beginning of that inspection, okay? Let them know that you see that the truck is upright, straight, it's not leaning, and that there are no leaks, okay? Now, once you note that there's no leaks, then you move up, okay? License plate is right there. Make sure it's secure, clean, and up to date, okay? Bumper, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Grill, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and free of debris. Headlights, secure, not cracked, and clean. Fender mirrors, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and clean. And you might just grab those fender mirrors and kind of give them a little tug, so that they're secure. Marker lights, top of tractor, secure, not cracked, all present, and none broken. Then you're going to open the hood, okay? The best way to do it is to walk over to the driver's side, pop your hood latch. Walk around to the passenger side, pop your hood latch, push the hood up open, okay? And then, now, some people do this different ways. Some people will keep two rags, others just one, I keep one rag and I have my gloves on. Okay. Gloves are an important part of the trucking life. If you don't have leather gloves, leather work gloves, you should probably get some. Okay. And they're good for a myriad of things. If you've got the right kind, I mean, they're totally indispensable. The backs of them are great for wiping lenses. Your lighting lenses, your turn signal lenses, as you do your walk arounds, your pre-trips, just use the back of your glove and wipe them off. Make sure they're clear. Also your hood mirrors, the back of your glove. If it's a soft leather glove, that'll take any dust off of there and not give you a big glare. But when it comes to this pre-trip, one of the first things that you want to do is check the oil. Now, some drivers will keep a rag on them to check that oil. I just use my glove, okay? When I pull the dipstick out, I put it right in between my thumb and forefinger and wipe it clean. But you don't just wipe it clean, because when you pull that dipstick out, you want to make sure that the oil is the proper color. You want to make sure there's no water in your oil. You want to make sure there's no debris in your oil. Okay, so look at it closely, then wipe it off, put it back down in there, pull it out to check to make sure that your oil is at the proper level. Now, at the same time you're doing this, you're also going to check the oil fill tube, the thing that your dipstick goes down into. You're going to make sure that it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and does not leak down at the bottom where it actually goes into the motor, okay? And you're going to say these things as you're doing it, okay, to make sure that examiner knows that you're looking at what you need to be looking at. Then you're going to check the turbo, okay? It's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Alternator, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. I know you guys see that I'm not looking at you. It's because I'm actually reading down the list, because I want to make sure that I get all of the list. I don't want to miss any part of this. I don't want to mislead anybody. I want you to know that I'm following down a list as well, okay? So alternator wires, make sure they're secured, not burnt, broke, cracked, cut, frayed, taped, or corroded. Okay, now that's a mouthful, right? BBCC, FTC, not burnt, broke, cut, cracked, frayed, taped, or corroded. Alternator belts, secure, not cut, broke, frayed, no more than a ½ inch of play, and none missing, of course. Water pump, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Radiator and radiator hoses, again, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Clamps are secure and tight. Antifreeze level. If equipped with a sight glass, just check that sight glass to make sure that it's at the appropriate level. If it does not have the sight glass, or it's not clear where you can see through it, then you're going to have to, as long as the truck's not hot, I mean, you don't want to open up the top of the antifreeze to check the top. You don't want to take off the radiator cap if it's hot. Definitely not if there's pressure buildup in there. But yeah, if you don't have a sight glass, or it's not clear, you're going to have to remove the radiator cap and check for safe operating levels. Fan shroud, make sure it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Fan blade, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and none missing. Your fan cannot be missing any blades, guys. It's important. The frame, make sure that it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no aftermarket welds. Okay, that's very important. Now, you've done the passenger side. Now you're going to walk around to the driver's side. You're going to check the other side of the water pump. Secure, not cracked, bent, broken, not leaking. Fan blade belt, secure, not cut, broke, frayed, no more than ½ inch play, and none missing. Power steering reservoir, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no leaking. Make sure the fluid is at its proper level. Most power steering reservoirs are clear, so you can see through them, and they're marked clearly on the sides. So it should not be difficult. Air compressor and airline, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Starter, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Wires are not, what do we say? BBCC, FTC, not burnt, broken, cut, cracked, frayed, taped, or corroded. Again, frame, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no aftermarket welds. You're right there by the steering. So now let's check the steering. Steering wheel shaft, secure, straight, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your U-joints in the shaft, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, properly greased. Your steering gearbox, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Your pitman arm, your drag link, your steering knuckle, and tie rod, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Your front suspension, drop on down to your spring hangers, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your springs, secure, straight, no more than 25% cracked or broken, and none missing. U-bolts and saddle, secure to axle, not cracked, bent, or broken. Shocks, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Now you're going to move on to the brakes. Air lines to the brake chamber, secure to frame and brake chamber, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Brake chamber and clamp, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking, and all bolts are tight. Push rod slack adjuster, secure with a pin and cotter pin, not cracked, bent, or broken, no more than 1 inch of play in the slack adjuster. S-cam shaft to S-cam roller, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Brake shoes, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no less than 1/4 inch of wear left on pads, free of oil, grease, and debris. Brake drum, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, is round, no excessive wear, no man-made welds, it's free of oil, grease, and debris. Then you're going to move on to that steer tire. You want to make sure it's the same size as the other side, same type. It cannot be recapped or regrooved. It must be virgin rubber. Tread depth should be no less than 4/32 of an inch in all major grooves. It should not have any tread separation, cuts, cupping, or bulging anywhere on the tire. Valve stem, secure, straight, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. All valve caps are present and tight. Tire pressure should be between 100 and 110 psi, and you should check it cold with a tire gauge. Rim. The rim should be secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and is round with no man-made welds. Lug nuts should be secure, none missing, and appear to be tight. On aluminum rims, look for white powder. On steel rims, look for rust coming off of those lug nuts. If you see either of those, there's a good chance that your lug nut is loose, in which case you need to find a lug wrench and get it tightened up. Now, if you're out on the road and you get to this part of your pre-inspection, if you can't tighten them up, or even if you do tighten them up by hand, you want to get to a shop ASAP and actually get them set at their proper torque. Hub, make sure that your hubcap is secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. All bolts are present and appear to be tight. If there's a sight glass, make sure that the oil is at its proper level. Your hub oil is very important, guys. Otherwise, if you can't see, if it doesn't have a sight cap, open the cap and make sure that there's at least 1 inch of 90 weight gear lube in there. All right, now moving on back to your fuel tank. You want to make sure it's secured to the frame with no less than 2 metal bands with rubber backing to prevent against excessive wear and corrosion. You want to make sure it's not cracked, broken, or leaking. Your fuel cap, make sure it's secure with a soft pliable rubber seal, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Steps, again, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no sign of excessive wear, free of oil, grease, and debris. Windshield washer reservoir. Make sure it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Fluid is at proper levels. Now, on a lot of these things, depending on the truck that you're in, they're going to be in a different place, okay? And so you're going to have to figure out where to put these things based on the place that they are. You know, don't memorize the list in such a way that, you know, you've got the list memorized, but then you get to a point and you're like, oh no, where's this part? Okay, know where your parts are on the truck that you're going to be testing on. Drive shafts. You want to make sure your drive shaft is secure, straight, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your U-joints are secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and properly greased. Your frame, again, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no aftermarket welds. The air tank and relay valves, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Your catwalk and steps, make sure it's secure, straight, not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts are present and tight, no excessive wear, free of oil, grease, and debris. Moving on to your battery box. Again, this is one of those things where a lot of the newer trucks have them right underneath the driver's door, okay? This is talking directly about a battery box that is underneath your catwalk, which many trucks still do have that, but I've noticed more and more are going for the battery box underneath the driver's side door. But the battery box should be secure, straight, not cracked, bent, or broken. no excessive wear, free of oil, grease, and debris. The batteries should be secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. All wires and connections are not burnt, broke, cut, cracked, frayed, taped, or corroded. Batteries that are not maintenance-free must be checked by removing the caps and checking the fluid levels. Air and electrical wires, and it's always a good idea to make sure that each thing that you come to, make sure you touch, if at all possible, you touch whatever you're talking about as you're going through this testing, because they're going to want to see that you know what you're talking about and that you're not just rambling off some list. So airlines properly hung, not dragging on catwalk, secure to the tractor, not cut, cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Glad hands secure to the trailer in the locked position, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Sills, soft, pliable rubber grommets, not cut, cracked, broken, or leaking. Electrical lines, secure to tractor and trailer with the safety latch in position. Again, they are not to have any burns. They're not to be broke, cut, cracked, frayed, taped, or corroded. Suspension on the drive tires. You're going to check your spring hangers. Make sure they're secure to frame, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your springs, secure, straight, no more than 25% cracked or broken, and none missing. U-bolts and saddle, secure to the axle, not cracked, bent, or broken. Shocks, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Airbags, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Again, if there's a part that I'm naming off or that you see on your checklist and you don't know what that part is, look it up. You've got a phone in your hand. All you have to do is type in truck part such and such, and you will get a picture of it and generally where it goes on any model truck that you put in there. So, yeah, you need to know what these parts are. Moving on to the brakes, drive tires. You got your airlines, the brake chamber, secure to frame and brake chamber, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Brake chamber and clamp, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking, and all bolts are present and tight. Push rod slack adjuster, secure with a pin and cotter pin, not cracked, bent, or broken, no more than 1 inch of play in the slack adjuster. S-cam shaft to S-cam roller, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Brake shoes, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no less than 1/4 inch of wear left on the pads, free of oil, grease, and debris. Brake drum, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, is round, no excessive wear, and no aftermarket welds, free of oil, grease, and debris. Drive tires, same size, same type, can be recapped or regrooved. Tread depth should be no less than 2/32 in all major grooves. No tread separation, no cuts, no cupping, no bulging anywhere on the tire. Valve stems, secure, straight, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. All valve caps are present and tight. Tire pressure should be between 100 and 110 psi. Checked cold with a tire gauge. No more than 3 inches between duals and free of debris. Rim, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, is round, and again, no aftermarket welds. Lug nuts, secure, none missing, and appear to be tight. Again, on aluminum rims, look for that white powder. On steel rims, look for the rust, which would indicate a loose lug nut. If loose, tighten it down. Hub, secure, not cracked, broken, or leaking. All bolts are present and appear to be tight. If there is a sight glass, make sure that oil is at its proper level. Otherwise, open the cap. Make sure that it's at least 1 inch of 90 weight gear lube. Fifth wheel, coupling system. All right. You got your fifth wheel platform. Make sure it's secure to the frame, not cracked, bent, or broken. All bolts present and tight. No aftermarket welds. Then on top of that fifth wheel platform, you've got what? You've got your fifth wheel. Make sure it's secure to the platform, not cracked, bent, or broken, and no aftermarket welds. Make sure it's properly greased and no light between the fifth wheel and the trailer apron. On the trailer apron, you want to make sure it is secured to the trailer, not cracked, bent, or broken. The kingpin is secured to the apron and not cracked, bent, or broken. The locking jaw on the fifth wheel should be secured around the kingpin shank, not cracked, bent, or broken. Locking arm, again, secured in locked position, not cracked, bent, or broken. Mud flaps, secure, not broken, or missing, and are at their proper height. All right, so now the tractor's done. So now you've already started on the trailer, right, by starting with that trailer apron. So let's move on down. We're going to go to the landing gear and braces. Make sure they're secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. The landing gear pads, those bottom, the feet of the landing gear. Make sure they're secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, free of debris, and in the up position. We want to make sure that handle is secured in the stowed position. Any DOT reflective tape down the side of the trailer, you want to make sure it's secure and clean and not excessively worn. Every cross member on that trailer, you want to make sure that it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, and none missing. You are allowed to have up to 1 rivet or bolt missing per cross member. If more than one is missing, it indicates that you've got a weak floor, and that's no joke, guys. Make sure that you're checking this stuff, because when you're out on the road, okay, when you back into a dock to get loaded, they don't always know the condition of your trailer, okay, and they're running forklifts in and out of there with heavy stuff on them, okay. Now, I mean, you got the weight of the forklift, obviously, but then you've got the weight of the freight that they're putting on or taking off of your trailer, okay. And if you have a weak floor, I don't know if you've ever seen a video yet of a forklift going through the floor of a trailer, but it happens more often than we would like it to, for sure. And it can cause serious harm and even death. So, check to make sure those cross members are secure. All right, tires. You went all the way down the trailer, okay? All of the cross members are good. Your DOT reflective tape is good. Okay, now you're at the tires. You've got 2 axles on your trailer, right? So you're going to go 1 axle at a time. What I like to do is start at the outside of the first axle, go inside to the next axle, and come back out, okay? So I'm looking at the tires. Same size, same type. They can be recapped or regrooved. Tread depth should be no less than 2/32 in all major grooves. It should not have any tread separation, cuts, cupping, or bulging anywhere on the tire. Valve stems, secure, straight, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. All valve caps are present and tight. Tire pressure should be between 100 and 110 psi, checked cold with a tire gauge. No more than 3 inches between duals and free of debris. All right. Right above your tires, you have your tandem slide rail. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Your tandem slide rail, make sure it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Holes are round, not excessively worn. Pin is secure in the hole, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your locking handle is secured in lock position, not cracked, bent, or broken. Okay, now you're going to move under to your first axle suspension. You've got the rocker arm hanger. Make sure it's secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your rocker arm, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Shock, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Airbag, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Your brakes, air lines, and relay valves, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Air lines must be at least 18 inches off the ground. Air lines to brake chamber, secure to frame and brake chamber, not cracked, bent, or broken, and not leaking. Brake chamber and clamp, secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking, and all bolts are present and tight. Push rod slack adjuster, secure with a pin and cotter pin, not cracked, bent, or broken, no more than 1 inch of play in the slack adjuster. S-cam shaft to S-cam roller, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Brake shoes, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, no less than 1/4 inch of wear left on the pads, free of oil, grease, and debris. Brake drum, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. It's round, no excessive wear, no aftermarket welds, free of oil, grease, and debris. Now, at this point, you're already way under there, so now you're going to go to the second axle and work your way back out. You're going to do the brakes, you're going to do the rocker arms, shocks, airbags, and tires, okay, on your second axle. And then you're going to do mud flaps, secure, not broken or missing, and are at the proper height. Rear of trailer, want to make sure your DOT bumper is secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, not excessively worn. Your DOT reflective tape on the back, secure and clean, not excessively worn. License plate, secure, clean, and up to date. License plate light, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All tail lights, secure, not cracked or broken, and are red in color. Doors and door hinges, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. All your bolts are present and tight. You're going to check your locking handle and rods, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your locking latch is secure in the lock position, not cracked, bent, or broken. Your door sills secure and sealed properly, and your header board is secure and not excessively damaged. All right, so now you've went down one entire side. You went down the entire driver's side of the truck, okay, and the trailer. You've done the back of the trailer. So now you're going to work your way back up the passenger side of the trailer, doing everything that you did on the driver's side, except at the front, once you get to the front of the trailer, well, and you'll do the same thing on the tractor, you know, all the way up the trailer, that side of the tractor. But a couple of differences. When you get to the front this time, you're going to check your bulkhead. The very front of the trailer up there, check your bulkhead. Make sure that it's everything's secure and no excessive damage. And while it used to be true that most trucks had dual exhaust, most trucks now only have one exhaust, and it is on the passenger side. So at this point, coming up the passenger side, you're also going to check that exhaust, make sure it's secure, not cracked, bent, broken, or leaking. Now, you're going to walk back around to the front of the truck. You're going to close and latch your hood, and you're going to do lights. And you're going to do it in this order, okay? First of all, no key. You don't need a key turned on or anything. You're going to do your low beams and running lights. You're going to turn those on, walk around the truck and trailer, and confirm that all are in working order. This includes the license plate lights, and that is the license plate light on your tractor and on your trailer. Now, not all tractors have a rear license plate light anymore. But if it's there, if it is equipped with one, even though nobody puts a license plate back there, if it's equipped with that light, make sure that it works, okay? But definitely to the one on the rear of the trailer. Turn signals. Signal each direction and then walk around the truck and trailer and confirm that all are in working order. Your hazards, your four-way lights, turn on your hazards and walk around the truck again and confirm that all are in working order. Brake lights. For this, obviously, you're going to need the examiner's help. Ask the examiner to watch the brake lights, and then you watch for their confirmation in the side mirror when you press that brake to make sure that they worked. Okay, now you're going to turn the key to the on position, but don't start it. Just to the on position so that you can turn on your high beams. So you're going to turn them on, and then you're going to walk around the truck and trailer and confirm that all are in working order. When you come back around to the driver's door, you are going to get ready to start your in-cab inspection. Okay? First thing that you want to do is pop your latch for your side box. Okay? Now, some trucks have the fire extinguisher right beside the driver's seat. Others have it in the side box. But when you get over to that driver's door, you pop the side box, turn off the key, because remember you left it on for your high beam. Turn the key off to the off position, okay? And if your extinguisher is right there, point it out. It's fully charged and secured, okay? This is a big one that people mess up on a lot, and this is out in real life, not necessarily on this test, but in real life. That fire extinguisher must be secured. You're not allowed just to have a fire extinguisher just sitting in there on the floor, okay? That makes it a mini bomb if you're in an accident, okay? So make sure that it is fully charged and secured. Now, if it's not right there, that's okay. You've done popped that side box, so you walk around there, and there you point out that there's a fire extinguisher fully charged and secure. Red reflective triangles. You need at least 3, not cracked, bent, broken, and secured. They must be secured. They come in a little box. Then usually that box can be bolted right to the floor, and the box is closed. Therefore, they're secure. Okay? They must be secured. Replacement fuses. You need at least 1 fuse for every major fuse in the truck. Unless, of course, the truck is equipped with circuit breakers, which some are. Make sure you know what you have. Safety belt. Okay, so now you've done that. You're going to close the side box, get back up in the cab, sit down, put your safety belt on, show that it's secured, not cut, frayed, or broken, in good working order, and that it latches properly. Dashboard, clean and free of debris. Windshield is secure, not cracked or broken. No more than 1 inch crack is permitted, and it must be clean and free of debris. Windshield sill, make sure it's secure, not cracked or broken, and not leaking. Wiper arms, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken. Work properly. Demonstrate this by turning that key to the on position without turning it on, and operate those wipers. Wiper blades, secure, not excessively worn, and in contact with the windshield. Windshield washer, demonstrate that it works. Hit that button. Make that washer squirt, so that you can see that it works properly. Mirrors, secure, not cracked, bent, or broken, clean and properly adjusted for you. Doors, and if at this point those mirrors are not properly adjusted for you, adjust them. Adjust them properly for you. Let that inspector know that you are doing and know you're doing what you're supposed to, and you know what you're doing. So yeah, check those mirrors and actually set them appropriately. Doors and door latches, secure, not bent or broken, not excessively worn, and latches properly. Door sill, secure, not cut, cracked, bent, or broken, and does not leak. Steering wheel, secured the steering column, not cut, cracked, bent, or broken, and no more than 10 degrees or 2 inches of free play in a 20-inch steering wheel. Foot pedals properly grooved, free of grease, oil, and debris, free of obstructions, and the clutch must have 1 to 2 inches of free play and travels to the floor with no obstruction. Horns, city, and air. Make sure you show that they work properly. Hit that city horn on your steering wheel and pull that air horn. Show that they do both work properly. Gear shifter. Make sure it's secure, straight, not cracked, bent, or broken. Range selector, if it has a T-bar, make sure that you show that it works properly. Now, at this point, you can go ahead and turn the truck on. When you turn it on, go over the gauges. Show that they each work properly. What you'd also want to do is make sure that your lights are still on, okay? Because ultimately you want them not just to see that you know what each gauge is and that it works properly, but also part of the test is knowing that they're supposed to be illuminated. Make sure the lighting behind those gauges work. That is a failure out on the road, okay? You don't want to go through a check and DOT checks out your truck and they're like, oh, your lights aren't working, that's a tag. That's such a basic, easy fix that nobody wants to get tagged for. You don't want tagged for that. You don't want any tags, but certainly not something so simple and basic. All right. Check that your heater, defroster, and blower work properly. How do you demonstrate that? Easy. You turn on the fan. Let it blow for a few seconds, turn it back off, okay? Now you're going to get into the part that everybody worries about, right? This is the big part, the brake check, the air brake check. Don't let this scare you guys. It's not that hard, and once you've gone over it several times, you'll be like, why was I so scared of this? All right, it's simple. You get in the truck, okay? You pull the yellow knob out, make sure it's out, push the red knob in, put truck in low gear, and give it a tug, okay? Then you're going to pull the red knob out, push the yellow knob in, and put truck in low gear and give it a tug. Now you're going to check the tractor and trailer service brakes, which means you're going to drive 3 to 5 miles an hour. You're going to apply the foot brake without touching the steering wheel. If it pulls to one side or the other, it would indicate a possible brake adjustment, tire, or suspension problem, and it should be serviced. Now, you've done all that. Now you're going to air down the tractor. So you're going to shut the tractor off, pull the key out of the ignition, get out, chalk the wheels, and get back in the cab. Now, you're going to push in both the red and yellow knobs. Initially, there's going to be an air loss of somewhere between 10 and 15 psi usually. You should, after that initial loss, you should not lose any more than about 3 psi per minute. And that's what he's going to be wanting to hear from you, that you don't want to see more than 3 psi per minute. Now, after you've shown that, you're going to apply pressure to the foot service brake, and after the first initial loss of 10 to 15 psi, you should see loss of not more than 4 psi per minute. Okay, and you want to say these things. Okay, make sure that you are explaining everything you're doing, because they only know that you know what you're doing if you're telling them what you're doing. Okay, so now you're going to put the key back in, turn it to the on position, but don't start the tractor. Okay, You want to do this to check your warning lights and buzzers. Okay, so you've got it to the on position, and you're going to fan down the foot service brake. Just keep pushing the foot pressure, the foot service brake, until the pressure gets to the point where your buzzers go off. And that should be around 60 psi. Some will be a little higher, but anywhere between 60 and 70 is good, but no less than 60 psi. Your warning light and buzzer should come on, indicating that you are losing air. Now turn your key off and continue to fan down the brakes for about, you're going to go down to somewhere between 20 and 40 psi, and both the yellow and red knobs are going to pop out, indicating that you are out of air and that your spring brakes are set. Okay, now that's the first part of the air brake test. The second part is even easier. It's the air recovery part. Start your tractor back up. Okay, your compressor should recover about 10 to 15 psi per minute at about 1,000 RPM. So if you start the truck and it's sitting about 600 RPM, go ahead and put your foot on that gas pedal and bring it up to about 1,000 RPM, and it should recover 10 to 15 psi per minute. Now, between 120 and 125 psi, you should hear that compressor cut out. Okay. Now, if you start pumping those brakes down, and it gets down somewhere between 90 and 100 psi, you're going to hear that compressor cut back in. Okay, so between 90 to 100 psi is your cut-in point, and between 120 and 125 is the cut-out point. If the air compressor continues to run past 125 psi, the emergency relief valve will pop off at about 150 psi just to make sure the air system is protected. That is all the information that you're going to need to know to be able to pass your pre-trip inspection for your CDL license. Know it, study it, learn it. Go down that list day after day after day after day after day, as many times as you can. Know where the parts are, know what you're looking for, and do this thing. You got this. You can do this test. I promise you, you can do this test. A lot of people get to this point of their schooling, the very end, they're ready to test, get their CDL, and move on. And what do? They quit. A lot of times, they'll quit before even trying. Other times, they'll try once and then just give up if they failed. You're allowed to fail at something more than once, guys. You really are. It's okay. Failure is what makes us, not breaks us, okay? So remember that. Remember to study it. Know where your parts are, and that's the best thing I can tell you, guys. Other than that, go out there, do it, have fun, and once you get out on the road, make sure you keep that shiny side up, greasy side down, and we'll catch you on the flip-flop.